DocTalk is brought to you by MERCK Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan here. We're in Kansas. We're with our old friend and colleague, Dr. Casey Olson. We're going to have a great show. We're going to talk about facial recognition for disease traceability in cattle. It's going to be a great and informative show.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America, a place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. We have our very familiar face, Dr. Casey Olson, and we're back out on the road, and man, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Folks, we've been sitting here for half an hour just catching up.
Yep, and we could probably go for a couple more days before we get caught up. I think the world of Dr. Olson, one of my favorite friends and colleagues. So he is a professor here in animal science at Kansas State University, where he holds a chair.
Yeah, there are a lot of chairs around this place. Look at this room. It's filled with chairs.
Not the type of chair, but he has the Lewis Chair of Grazing Cattle Nutrition or Cow-Calf Nutrition. In other words, he spends a lot of time looking at ways to grow stockers and cattle and use the natural resources. And now we're getting off into something new.
Yeah, and folks, this is an area that I can't believe I found myself in. But about a year ago, a close colleague from industry came to us, both of us, Kansas State University, with an idea that the same facial recognition technology that people use to open their cell phones or that people use to get a permanent secure ID could be used for livestock. And neither one of us had any expertise in this area, but we knew that we could help put together a team at Kansas State that could solve this problem.
Yeah, and when you started thinking about ear tags and you start thinking about all the different things we're talking about with traceability and moving parts and equipment, when you look at the swine industry's going to it, the equine world's going to it, it just makes so much sense.
Oh, it does. And the sort of first gen technology that was originally used to give human beings a secure ID was based on these really intricate biometric measurements of the human face. And a person, had to sit and analyze photographs with electronic calibers and figure out, which dimensions of the human face were most distinguishing. Well, I figured that was the process that we were looking at, and it was going to take years. But we've got some colleagues in computer science that are just a brilliant team of people. Okay, they told us, hey, what about artificial intelligence? Can we take some pictures of animals and feed it to a learning network, a self-learning network called a neural network, and see if the neural network can recognize patterns? And basically that's what happened. I mean, most of the work was actually done by this man right here in obtaining some short videos of feeder cattle, about 1,000 of them, that we could use for proof of concept.
Yep. And I'll wrap it up, take us to break, and we're going to come back and talk more about this. But you know, when I said, you know, how could you tell the difference between one cow and another? And you know, they say that we do facial recognition every day. When someone walks up, you either know them or you don't know them. And our brain is doing that to how the eyes are spread apart or how long the face is. So it can be done. Have you ever walked up to someone in Walmart and thought it was someone else? You know, it's the patterning that you're recognizing.
Yes.
So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, more with Dr. Olson. We're going to talk about facial recognition and technology in cows. We're glad you joined us. This is going to be a fun show. Hey folks, welcome to our Cattle First Minute. I'm Dr. Dan here, and thanks to Beringer Ingelheim Vet Medica for sponsoring this. When we think about vaccination and vaccinating calves in the fall, or vaccinating your cows in the fall, or summer, or spring, it doesn't matter what time of year, we've got to treat vaccines responsibly. Because if you don't, that modified live vaccine becomes a modified dead vaccine. We want to make sure we keep it out of the sunlight. We want to make sure that we keep it cool. We want to make sure that you don't mix up more vaccine that you're going to utilize than what you would utilize in an hour. And when you do, make sure you put it in that cooler that keeps it dark and keeps it cool. All of these things, understanding that the syringes have to be clean so that these products work well. Putting a vaccine that is not efficacious into an animal means you vaccinate the animal, but you don't immunize the animal. And understanding that there's a difference between immunization and vaccination is important for Cattle First.
When you're in the cattle business, no matter how much it's a business, it still starts with cattle. It's this basic notion that sits at the core of how we approach things at Beringer Ingelheim. We understand when you put the cattle first, it just naturally leads to doing the right things. If you want to do well in this business, you start by doing right. Take care of the cattle, and they'll take care of you.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Casey Olson. We're in Manhattan, Kansas. Got the beautiful Flint Hills. This is a picture, but man, driving in, that's beautiful.
Well, it is an awful pretty place, folks.
If you get a chance, you need to stop in here to Manhattan, Kansas, see the Flint Hills. It is cow country. Now, let's get to talking, Dr. Olson, about this facial technology. Just kind of give us the premise on how this works. Especially, I'm sitting there thinking about 5 Angus cows standing in the row. Okay. How am I going to tell those
that's
5 apart?
That's fair. Maybe I'll just begin by talking about how strong facial recognition technology is for people. Okay, people change all the time, right? They gain weight, they lose weight, they grow facial hair if they're male, they can put sunglasses on, they can wear a hat. Facial recognition can't be defeated by any of those things, even aging. So why not try to apply it to beef cattle? And eventually it'll be applicable to a variety of other species, but it's low-hanging fruit with respect to disease traceability. We could probably talk for several minutes about why there's been reluctance to move toward a national animal disease traceability system.
Right.
One of those sources of resistance has just been giving up anonymity. Okay, maybe accepting additional liability in the industry.
Yep.
Well, all this technology is going to do, okay, when it's used, is record a date and record a GPS location from the appearance of the animal, maybe an approximate age. There's no tying that GPS location to a person or to a person's property or to an operation. It's the best of both worlds. Okay, it gives us a time and a place where an animal's located, and very rapidly, okay, the neural network can say, okay, this animal had a health crisis at this point in time. Where are the last 2 or 3 locations the animal's been, and when was it there?
Yep.
I mean, it's very powerful.
Yeah, and you start to think about it too, that when those animals, we're doing facial recognition on humans in airports.
Yes.
Walking down the hallway. Well, that's the same as an alley. And cattle that can walk down an alley, and there's no interference of like signals bouncing back and forth and not picking them up. You do have to have visual acuity where you can see that animal's face. But I like the idea that it is really truly is just animal identification.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's their cows can't carry a driver's license.
No, I've not run into one that does yet.
And so it is about where it just tells you they were here, and it's no different than what we've done with ear tags. The difference is we don't have to have ear tags.
True. And another important point is that all of the sort of ID technology that we work with in the past, they carried a cost. Okay, the cell phone app that will be available shortly from Cattle Tracks is going to be free to producers or at a very low cost. The incremental cost of using this system is close to zero.
Yep, if you have a cell phone.
If you have a cell phone, most of us do.
Yeah, some of y'all are going to have to get rid of your flip phones. But maybe those will work too. We'll know. We'll see. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more here with Dr. Casey Olson on facial recognition in cattle.
Some call it a come from behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
The state of Iowa and Iowa State University are proud to host the 2021 Beef Improvement Federation Annual Research Symposium and Convention. The convention will be located in downtown Des Moines with easy access to the airport, hotels, and local restaurants. Iowa State University is just north with its research and teaching farms. Join us in Iowa and experience how Iowa provides the beef industry with innovation to application.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Casey Olson, and we're in our comfy chairs today here at Kansas State University, where Dr. Olson is the Lewis Chair in Ruminant Nutrition, Grazing Cattle Nutrition here in the Animal Science Department. One of our nation's leaders in a lot of different areas when it comes to beef production. And we're talking about Cattle Tracks, which is a facial recognition software and traceability program that's up and coming, and
yes.
So something very interesting.
Well, Cattle Tracks has really three parts. There is a smart cell phone app that basically self-directs. It's a form of artificial intelligence itself. You position your phone around an animal's head. The app detects only beef cattle heads. No goats, no sheep, no people. Okay, when the lighting is right and the angles are optimal, it'll start taking pictures. Okay, and then when the user has available data, those images are automatically uploaded, again with the GPS coordinate and the date, to a secure blockchain style database. Okay, and if you're not familiar with blockchain, you can't change an entry, you can only add to it. Okay, so very secure in that standpoint. The third component of cattle tracks is the artificial intelligence, and basically the self-learning program figures out on an individual animal which of those facial biometrics are the most critical, and teaches itself to recognize subsequent images of that animal.
Yeah, so if you would have a calf born, I guess that's some of the work that we're doing now, is if you have a calf born, can I take a picture of that calf out in the pasture and then recognize that calf at weaning and recognize that calf at slaughter?
You know, that is certainly a possibility, but what we really need is industry buy-in, because if the neural network doesn't have any images to work with, it doesn't get any smarter.
Right.
Capability of handling a massive amount of data is certainly already there, and it's our hope that when the app becomes available, that there will be strong interest in the producer base to download it and to start using it.
I think that when we think about the beef industry and traceability, if there's a way to remain with the anonymity, because I remember one person saying, if you want to do the traceability at my place and you want to know how many cows I have, I'd like to know how much you have in your 401k, right?
That's fair.
And so as we develop this and as we mature as an industry, because there are tax implications, we have to come to a point where those animals, maybe where it's just at the point of sale or the point of changing an address, so that we know if that animal leaves a place, we know where it wound up. It's not about
Absolutely.
where it was, it's where it is. And I think the other one is, as an industry, this isn't going to just be about disease. This is going to be about, if we want to be global players in an export market,
Yes.
we're going to market cattle. I just think that what I hear now is not thou shalt do this, it's how can we all get paid more raising cattle, and the only way that's going to happen is through some of these high dollar exports.
Yeah, and the one thing that I would add is that the second generation of this technology, there will be the possibility of attaching additional data to each image, things like birth dates, vaccination history, and that has value, and users will be rewarded for that.
Yep. So more to come. Dr. Olson, right here in Manhattan, Kansas. We'll talk to you after the break.
When you're in the cattle business, no matter how much it's a business, it still starts with cattle. It's this basic notion that sits at the core of how we approach things at Behringer Ingelheim. We understand when you put the cattle first, it just naturally leads to doing the right things. If you want to do well in this business, you start by doing right. Take care of the cattle, and they'll take care of you.
Beef Teaching Farm is a place where producers,
entrepreneurs,
faculty,
innovators,
consumers, and most of all, our students
have an opportunity to learn.
We strive for excellence in the beef business and provide an environment for others to engage in production agriculture.
Through teaching, advocacy, and hands-on instruction,
we can grow the next generation of beef producers.
We are the Iowa State University Beef Teaching Farm.
The state of Iowa and Iowa State University are proud to host the 2021 Beef Improvement Federation Annual Research Symposium and Convention. The convention will be located in downtown Des Moines with easy access to the airport, hotels, and local restaurants. Iowa State University is just north with its research and teaching farms. Join us in Iowa and experience how Iowa provides the beef industry with innovation to application.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Casey Olson, and we're off into something we hadn't been off into. We're more in the pasture.
Right. This is deep water for a couple of country boys.
Yep. So I think the one thing I kind of want to get across, because I've been a proponent of traceability in the beef industry and all industries, whether it's for disease, whether it's for economic return, which I think has to happen when you think about these types of things. It has to make more money for the people that are doing it. But I just don't want to get it, because I know some of the emails that I'll get by being a proponent or being for traceability is, you know, it's we have a voluntary system. And it's something that will allow certain parts of the beef industry to grow. You know?
I can't argue with that. You know, going back to the early 2000s, the late 1990s, when I was an extension specialist and I was talking to people about a national animal ID program, you know, there was a lot of enthusiasm, but there were so many moving parts, and it just it died a natural death. And we really have not left that sort of realm of discussion or that set of technology that went with it since that time. You know, I think what we've got here is a great opportunity to make a major leap forward, using a system with components that are extremely simple to use, which to the primary user isn't going to carry much, if any, cost. You know, the way that the developers of the system are going to make money on it is from end users that want to figure out where the animals in their care have been in the immediate past.
Yep, and so I think that when you start to look at that, then, you know, there's a cost and then there's a return on investment. And if more beef is consumed, whether it's in southwest Iowa, northeast Kansas, or southwest China, or South Korea, or Japan, the more U.S. beef that is demanded and consumed, the more money people in the beef industry make, and the more our industry gets to grow.
Yes, absolutely.
And to me, anything that we're going to do has to have that in mind, of the people that are involved day to day in the beef industry. So are you going to get paid directly? Maybe not. Is it going to cost you anything? Minimal. But at the end of the day, the return on investment comes from increased beef demand globally for U.S. beef.
That is, I can't add to that. That's a perfect way to summarize.
Yep. So disease traceability is great. Market value and genetic traceability and different things like that, they're great. But anybody that doesn't sit there and say, we're going to send global economic signals for U.S. beef by increasing traceability so we can enter these marketplaces and stay in them, that's the deal at the end of the day. What do you think, Doc?
Well, again, I'll just say that we're entering a very exciting time. We expect the Cattle Tracks app to be available before the end of October, and the complete system to be in place by about Thanksgiving of 2020. There'll be continual work to refine it, to add capability to it. So we have got a lot of work to do over about the next 2 years, Doc.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting, it's fun, and really thankful for all you do for the beef industry.
Well, likewise, Dan.
Yep. Thanks for watching DocTalk. If you want to know more about what we do here, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Remember to always work with your local veterinarian. And for Dr. Casey Olson, I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here in Manhattan, Kansas, and we'll see you down the road.
DocTalk is brought to you by MERCK Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.